We are live. I wonder if we'll actually get some people or if it will be like blank because everyone's at Summers.
I didn't even think about that.
Oh, we'll see. We shall see. I'll put my camera on so at least there's something in the video, you know. Alrighty, welcome everybody to today's Lunch and Learn. I'll be your host, Jared. I'm on the training team, and we have no pre-submitted questions. So if you have any questions, feel free to type them in the webinar chat or just the Zoom chat, and I'll answer it or do the best I can. Alrighty, we got someone to raise hand. All right, Helmet, you have the ability to talk. How can I help you?
Hi, I think last week I asked a question about storing documents and subfolders, and I think we talked about folder extension data and such. I went back and tried to kind of create a proof of concept with this, but I had trouble because we save all of our flow extension data structure data into a process folder, and then I'd like to have subfolders within that process folder. I was unable to do that within the process folder. Am I missing something, or could you show us how that's done, just kind of at a high level?
Yeah,
if that's possible.
of course. I can definitely do that. All right, I'll actually create just a random flow execution extension. All right, and you can see my screen, right? Should have Decision Studio.
Yeah, I can see it.
Perfect. All right, so let's go ahead. Nope, wrong folder. Folder scaffolding. I'm going to create something. We'll call this flow execution extension. And I'm going to select all. We'll generate this. And what we're going to do is I'm going to create a, let's see, I'm going to create a list. This is where my data is going to be. But let's say, and I'm going to build this. Let me know if this is how you're doing it. And maybe this is the method you want. I'm actually going to create this is a very tiny example. We're going to create 3 different folders. Create a folder. And this one's going to be, let's say this is PTO. And we'll go here, and then I'll go back to data. We'll say this one's Travel Splash, like our old project. Travel Splash. Woo. Create. And we'll do one more. And let's say we'll call this one I'm gonna use the PTO. Well, I don't know, lending or say loan. Let's do that one. Haha. All right, cool. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a flow or data type. I'm going to say that my flow execution extension user defined type. I'm going to say this is my, I'll call it dynamic data. Oh, probably shouldn't call that name. I'm going to call this example data. And it's going to have a type of data. So I'm going to say it's got a type. I'm going to say it's got an owner. So I'll do a name. I'll do email. And I'll say data. Just make up some stuff. Boom. All right. So now we got that. Save it. Alrighty. And I'm probably going, excuse me, I'm going to generate a form so I can input some data manually. And what I'm going to do is, there we go. So now let me go to this. So I'm actually going to change this to be a drop-down list so that we have it. This is why we never use Canvas, if you're wondering. Oh my goodness.
Neither do I.
That's so weird. Okay, cool. And then I would say the type is folder. That's what I'm going to call this. Display field, we're going to display the folder name. And import source is going to be a data name. And we're going to say this is the data folders. And select it. Sure, it will output the selected name. That's fine. I don't think I can actually change this. If I can do type, I don't think it's going to work. Yeah, it's not going to work because it's a composite type. So we're going to leave this as selected. I'll explain that in just a second, why I have to do it this way. All right, save. So now I got that, but I need to create an active form flow because actually I don't need to. I'm just going to ignore that part for right now. Let's just get to the part that's going to be useful. All right, so I'm going to go create a flow. And I'm going to say this is generate some data. Generate data. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to user defined types, or not user defined types, I forgot. Show form. And we're going to add this. And pick existing. Awesome. Setup process folder. Alrighty, so it's setup process folder. I'll put this in here, and I think I should be fine because if I set this, so the parent folder, so I can specify, or I can say I want this to be a flow input, so I can dynamically get that the parent folder from a flow. I don't see my process folder unique. Sure. I'll go to the inputs. Flow input. Specify. This is not. Input folder name. The flow time. Process folder. Oh, I don't think I have it as use extension data. Use extension data, so we got that part. Got my extension data here. Ah, there we go, parent folder ID. Okay, it did appear. I was wondering when that would appear. So now, let's say I want this to be dynamic on whenever I choose something. So we're gonna pass in just the extension data of this thing. The input, perfect. And then we're gonna say the parent folder ID is going to be the selected. And we're gonna say it's the folder ID, boom, of that. And we're just going to make this merge plain text of the input. So we'll do the email and then the, I guess, type of request. Cool. All right. And I think on that selected, I'm going to create some data and I can show you how this works. And this is what I think I called it, what, flow execution extension or something. I think I probably gave it a horrible name, didn't I? Darn it. I forgot the name of it. It is, yeah, flow execution. Oh, it's just called example data. Cool. I like that. No, what happened? Oh, I closed it. That's what happens when you try to use these shortcuts too much. Now I got to redo all that. Yes, unfortunately, I have to break the lock. Oh, it remembered it. Okay, cool. So, I'm just going to build it this way. Example data, select from flow, input, that's fine. Folder name, we're just going to make this the merge plain text. We're going to say this is the input email. And we'll say that this is the selected folder name. Entity name, sure. That's what we'll do. And then the parent folder ID will be the selected folder ID. Boom. So cool. All right, so now I believe we should be all set. And so now what happens, there's still yellow. Oh, okay. Test. So now what happens, let's see if it actually works, is if I save this data, it should save it to the specific folder that I specify from the drop-down list. So you can kind of see how that works. Let's see, and we'll say this is test fx. So I debug, start debugging. The type is going to be, oh, silly me, I didn't load this up. I didn't preload this. Let me fetch all my folders, fetch entities. No results is going to go to the end. And parent ID is going to be a folder, is the type name. And then we're going to use the type parent folder ID as a constant. I'm going to go to all flow execution tests and we'll hit that data. And then what we'll do is with a list of folders here, we're going to pass in right here. So now when I debug, I will have, boom, all of that stuff. Why does it got data? That doesn't make sense. It should be filtering that. But anyway, so if I grab the PTO and say, hey, I'm putting PTO request, this is for, let's say Sabrina bought a house. So Sabrina, you're going to go on PTO. And then the data is going to be, she's going to have so much fun. Boom. So now what's going to happen is if I open up my local again, so I can see the folder tree, you'll notice that over here in this data, I actually have in the PTO part, I have a submarina for PTO, right? If I run it again, and this time I'm going to say, let's say, we'll see. He's going to go on the, let's see, loan. He's going to need a loan. He's going to be like buying a house or something, buying house. Boom. And then now if I go back into here, he's going to have we'll see loan. And so that's how you can use a set of process folders and put them in different parts of that information.
Yeah, that parts of that was helpful for sure. I think I was trying to ask if it's possible to have subfolders within your process folder, right? So if I had an entity, a kind of a high level entity that had a process folder associated with it, and then it had, you know, documents and data and then substructures within that, I'd like to kind of save, you know, those substructure objects and those documents all together in the process folder.
Sure.
So
I could show
this
that part
this
too.
was useful though.
Okay.
So
you want me to show that other part? Because I can show the other part too, because it's
if
yeah.
I don't want to take up too much time.
Sure. Well, let me see if there's any. Is there any other question? I'll put it out there. Is there any other questions? Anyone else got their hand up, or it seems like everyone else is kind of interested too? Okay, I don't see anyone's bored, so I think you got a good question. So I'm going to continue on with it.
Okay.
So yeah, so if you want to, so like let's say there's additional stuff you want to put in here, right? And you want to actually add it. So
because I've successfully been able to add documents here, but at the end of the day, I'd like to fundamentally kind of separate two types of documents, right? Like we have documents that refer to the high level entity, like I was talking about, and then we have documents that are specifically just for the child entity, you know, that lives within that process folder.
Gotcha. Yeah. So let me adapt, because I can show that part too. Because let's say for Will's loan, let's say there's a couple documents that we need to have him submit. So what you can do there is, if I want to store things in there, let me create another form. Call this upload stuff, right? And we'll say I'm just gonna use the file upload control. We'll only upload one thing. So we'll say file upload. And we shall use, and I think it's fine. So let's say I want to pull, upload some stuff. So this is going to be upload into, folders, right? Upload into process folder, right? So let's say I want to, upload into process folder flow. Boom. So let's say I'm actually going to adapt that form that I did. So if I do show form here and we add here, and then I pick up this upload stuff, I'm actually going to edit this because there's one thing I forgot. I'm going to add another drop-down list, but in this case, I'm actually going to do my example data as the data type. Boom, example data. We're going to display the, what is it? The, where's the entity name? I want the process folder name. Haha, that's what I want. So I got the process folder name. I'm going to say, grab that. And then we'll say this is just my data, right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fetch entities, and I'm going to fetch example data, add it here. We'll do results here. We're going to add no results, and we'll say, let's just add document. I'll use this step here. Do I have to use the internal? I do. Okay, let me just get the add document step. We're going to go to integration. We're going to go to internal services. We're going to the document service. And sure, we're just going to add document. Make it nice and easy. File and description. Is it build data? Okay, cool. So yeah, we can. All right, awesome. And so now what I can do is I'm fetching my data here. I'm going to grab, this is just populating my drop-down list, so I have something to select. I don't need anything by default selected. So this is going to grab all the process folders that I have. Remember, I have two. I have one for Sabrina. I have one for Will. So now when I actually run this, and let's say I have a document, right? Let me just connect it all up. File upload, perfect. You'll notice that when I debug this, it's not obviously it's not going to work because I haven't completed it. But I have all of the folders that I have here. This is why I like naming those folders. It will be helpful with something unique. So I can say, hey, this is going to be, I need to add, like, let's say it's Will C's loan agreement, right? And obviously I want to store it in, that folder. So when I do select from flow and I go to the selected, I don't think I have selected. We're selected. I'm losing something on this form. Oh, let me clear. It should be outputting selected data. Hold on, I think this drop down list is just not refreshing. Oh, I know. I think I know why. Is this set to output? Selected data output. Why isn't it outputting? Let me make sure. Yeah, it's required. Okay. So now it's perfect. Okay, so now it's outputting. All right. So I got the selected data output, so I can see that there. And so now what I can do is for the folder ID, I can drill down into my selected. I'm gonna grab the process folder ID because that's the folder ID of the thing that I need. And actually, I think that's accurate. We'll test it. But now what I can do is, okay, let's say I debug this and I have Will's agreement, right? So let me grab Will's agreement. We're going to do this. All right, we'll do this thing. That's not what I wanted. All right, we're going to grab this text. Let's say this is his loan agreement or whatever it is. Then I can pick, okay, I want to put this in Will C's folder. And then I do the button. All right, what's the error here? It's error running upload. Flow data title. Oh, did I not give it a title? I don't think I gave it a title. I didn't give it a title. So I'm going to call this Will C's loan agreement. I think then it will work. And so I have this. I select that same file, right? I put this here. Then I grab Will C's folder. I run it. Boom, it runs. I can go back to my folder tree here. And what you'll see is if I go down into the data, I go down into the loans, and then I go into Will C's loan, you'll see now I have his Will C's loan agreement right here. I can also look at the process data view and I can see how it's stored into different, document and comment and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I was successful in doing that. So is there not a way that you can create a subfolder within this process data folder here? Like, so for example, you have, Will C's loan. Could I have the process data and then I could say, okay, Will C's loan documents and then Will C's like banking documents, like two separate substructures
I'll build
under
that
there?
out for you right now. That's a great question. Yeah, you can definitely do that. So there's a couple of cool steps that you can utilize in decisions for that. There is the create, I think it's like create subfolder.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so what you can do is you can give it a folder name. And so you can, let's say part of your creation process is, create a flow execution extension for Will, but also like we know all customers are gonna have banking documents or whatever. So then as soon as you create these three separate subfolders inside of them. And so you can do that programmatically. So let's say I'm actually gonna switch to the other flow that I did because I think
that's exactly what I'm looking for.
Perfect. Well, I'll show you that. So if I go into not this one, generate data. I did close it. So cool. I got this, process folder. So let's say I'm going to create a new thing. Let's say it's for Robert. I think Robert's on. Yeah, I think we'll create one for Robert. So now what I'm going to do is first let me grab the fetch entities. Put this here because I didn't save it and I accidentally. Oh my goodness. Put it here. Let's see, no results can go back to here, and then my folders. I'm just going to grab the folders, And just so I can make sure that I just get the type of folder that I'm looking for, I'm gonna create a filter. So like I want to filter out this, but since I am creating subfolders, so if, like when I fetch this, notice I'll have a list of, oh, I didn't pass the input map again. All right. Nope, not constant. Select from flow. You'll notice that if I debug this, I'm gonna have all of like even my the flow execution extensions,
Right.
which obviously I don't want that. So what you can do here is every folder has like a type, a specific like folder type. So if I click into here, so I can see like, okay, I want everything that's just a type folder, right? And so now when I go back into my flow and I can say this is the generate data, I can say in my fetch criteria, I only want the type. I think it's called folder type. What was it called? Folder type, I think that's what it was. And I could filter by that. Let me, I always forget what the property was. Data types, there's one data. But what is that? I need to know but is this a renamed column? Entity type short name, that's what I was looking for. Okay. So entity type short name. So I need to find entity type. Entity type short name. Entity type short name. I think it's this one. We'll find out. If I get no results, then it won't work. But if it does get results, hey, look at that. Perfect. So it's just folder type. All right, cool. So now I can just get the folders that I'm looking for. So let's say I'm going to put another PTO request. This is for Robert. He's going to have a good old time. He's going to be loving it. So we'll say Robert. And the data is I'm going to Bahamas with spouse. Yeah, we'll just put it that way. All right. And so I'm going to submit this PTO. Oh, I messed it up. Darn it. Because he needs his ticket, right? So let's say I'm going to use this create subfolder, right? So what I can do is I know that, hey, you know, Robert and his wife are going to need a ticket, right, to actually go on. So the parent folder ID is going to be the output of the process folder ID that you get from the step right here. And then I can give it, a name. So I'm going to say this is ticket information or ticket. Yeah, this is boarding pass. That's the word I'm looking for. Boarding pass doc. Boarding pass document. Documents. That's good. All right. And then when I create his again, so he's going to have, this is going to be Robert 2 and data going to a place far, far away. And let me say this is PTO and I run this. Now, if I go into his, what is it, PTO, I got Robert 2 PTO. You'll notice over here, browser view data, I have boarding pass documents that I can then click into. So a couple of things to make this viable. I would recommend creating your own default process view page so that you can easily access that folder. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I've seen a little bit of the documentation about doing that.
Okay.
I'm just not familiar with it, but I'm sure I could look into it.
Okay. Gotcha.
And
Gotcha.
you're saying kind of you can restructure this whole process view to show less or more, right?
Exactly, because you
Yeah.
probably want to see you probably want to say, hey, here's Robert. Hey, here's here's
Here's
everything about the
data.
request.
Yeah.
Here's the folders. Click into here, and then it shows the documents, or
Exactly.
something like that, right? So you
Yep.
can definitely get however granular you want with it. So
Awesome. Thank you very much. And you
Mhm.
could
Yep, yep.
theoretically
My
save
pleasure.
any kind of entity in that subfolder, right? Where we
Yes,
save
sir.
documents here, but you could save any entity.
Correct. Yes.
Gotcha.
You can save anything,
Okay.
even designer elements in normal folders. But the problem is when you do that programmatically, then if you try to access it, it only throws you to the history page. But
Yeah. Okay.
all right, cool. We got another question. Manal Mansour says, is there any way to have a user action where you can download bulk attachments from different requests? So bulk attachments from different requests. I'm gonna take you, I want to allow you to talk. Could you elaborate more, Manal?
Hello, Jared. So my question was like, you know how like on the form you can do download the form in a PDF, and then sometimes, most of the time, we have an attachment box on the form too where they can attach.
Mhm.
Is there any way they can do when I click on the user action, I can get the download of the form as a PDF and all the attachments they uploaded in that form, but for like multiple requests. So for example, if
Mhm.
I select like a submitted state and all of the submitted requests, I need all of their attachments and their form PDF in like one place. Is that possible?
It will take, so it's we there's so it's kind of like a yes and no. So what you could do is, so we can't we can't download the form per se, but we can get the data and download the data from the form, right? And so you can create views and stuff like that. It would be a little involved. As a small, let me see if I can build like just a small kind of example of how, like, how I'm thinking I would do this.
Yeah, because I was
Um,
able to build
mhm,
the user action where you can download the form PDF and you can get the
mhm,
attachments all in the form. The problem I'm having is like when I'm trying to do it for multiple requests. So like I want 5 forms,
mhm,
5 requests when I do the like select, and then I
mhm.
selected like 5 of them, and I want the user
Oh.
action go
Mhm.
away.
Oh, I see. I now understand. Oh, so that's actually easier. So actually, yes, you can do that. So, what that is called is, do I have some data to demonstrate this? I can do that with that, but that's not information. Let me create a quick report over the example we just did with helmet. So I'm gonna say, hey, I want to example data report. And in your specific case, what we would do is, let me see if I can add, use defined types, entities, not entities, it's flow data extensions, example data, and then we're just gonna have entity name, email, and yeah, we'll just do email, and sure, entity type name. All right, cool. All right, so now I got my example data report. And so now what I can do is, let me add this into a page. That's what I need. I'm gonna do test page again. Report view, put that report view right there. Add this right here. We're gonna save. So we're gonna save. Yes, we're gonna save. So now I can have that report. And let's say, do I have anything? Let's see. I don't think Sabrina has any documents. Let me add just a no data document. Sure, add as a document. Boom, placed it in her folder. I'm going to go back to Robert and I'm going to do this. Actually, let me just delete this folder because I don't want it for this test. And then I'm going to go back into this folder, Robert PTO, process data view. I'm going to grab, all right, cool. We're going to put this in here, add this document there. And then I think it's good enough. Well, I want to make sure, let me make sure I got a document in all of these. Okay, perfect. So he's got a document. Well, I think Rob, did I put something in here? All right, we'll do a logging piece of text. Boom. Okay, so now I got a document and all my stuff. So your question is, you want to like download the data, right? And like have that group action.
Yes. And
Okay,
then the
cool.
attachments on the form.
And the attachments of the form. So yeah, you can definitely do that. So it will. So if I just create a user action, I can use a group user action. And so that's what I would do here. And I could say like, hey, I want to, for every item, it's, download the documents and do that. So let's create this test group action so you can see what it looks like. Test group action. Or we're gonna say download group stuff. Put that there, right? You'll notice that the inputs here is a list of kind of the entity IDs and then the entities, because this is a group user action. So we can easily, get all that stuff. And so what I'm going to do here is I can say, hey, I want to take in that information. And I'm trying to think how I would do this. So I'm going to do a show form. And or actually, let me just create this form real quick. I don't want this to be created inside the configuration folder because I will forget it's there. So we're going to create this other form. I'll say this is download form. And let's look, search download. Multiple file downloads. Boom, look at that. There we got downloads. And then I can, where's my button? Button. Perfect. And then since I created that action, I don't think I attached it to a dashboard. Let me add this dashboard thing here. Or a test page. Boom. All right, cool. So now in my user action, we're gonna go back here. So now I'm gonna pick that form, pick existing, download. And now what I can do is I can get all files, or I can say get file. I'm gonna for each through, right? Because I have a list of IDs I need to get documents from. Done, and we'll go here. And then on my next, I'm gonna say get file. I think I could do it by get document by ID. I think that's how it is. Which you can go through integration, internal services, and we go to document service. And I think there's a get document. And it's get document, get document. Is this by ID? Perfect, get document. No, I want it by folder ID. That's what I want. Get by folder ID. That's what I'm looking for. And then I could say get document data. So I can get the file data from that. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna add that item to a list, add them to list. So I can create a list of files. This is gonna be file data. Put this here. I'm gonna say we're gonna grab through a list of entity IDs and we're gonna select from flow. We're going to grab the item. So this is going to get all the list of documents in there. Since I know there's only one document coming out of that step, I'm just going to grab the, I got the wrong one, don't I? Yeah, I'm just going to grab the first one. If I have multiple files in each document, I have to create some different logic to kind of handle that. Oops, not first. First document, and I should find document ID. And then I can put this new item, document output data. The original list is just going to be my new list because I'm just populating this. And then I can select that new list of file data, and then I could choose to multiply download. So what would this look like? Let's test it out. Hopefully what this looks like is I go to my dashboard, right? And I can say, let me multi-select, right? I could download a group of stuff, boom. And then boom, I have all the documents here that I can then click download on. Did that answer your question?
Yes,
Oh,
that
my
does.
internet.
Yeah, sorry, you got frozen for a bit, but that does though. And then you can just,
Sorry. Yep, I can pick which ones and I download it and it goes into downloads.
and then one question with that related, is there any limitation how many rows I can choose for the group action?
Nope, there's no limit. So it will do it for one or many. So like if I go back to it so you can see, where's my report? So I can, if I only want it for like, Sabrina and We'll See, I can say download group stuff and it's just those two.
Gotcha, because for this one, like they have like 50 or 40, will that impact it? Like if I do for 40 group action?
No, well,
You...
so are we talking about if you do it for like that massive of a batch?
Yes.
Do you want it to like automatically download or?
Automatically download and then it zips the folder. So right now, how
And
I
you
did
want to
it,
get and you want to get a zipped folder with all the documents downloaded.
yes, all the
Got it.
attachments they have in the form.
Got it. Okay, so no, good point. Yes, you to think of scalability, because if you're doing it for 100 documents, then that won't look like 17 kilobytes like mine. So it's still not working. Am I
Yeah, you're cutting out.
live? Can you hear me?
No, you're breaking up pretty bad.
Why are we breaking up?
I hear you now.
Oh, really? Okay. Oh, as you can see, everyone's leaving me. All right, I'm going to switch. Hold on a second, guys. I'm just going to switch to my hotspot so I can have the. All right, I just switched networks. Can you guys hear me?
Yep, you're good.
Okay, cool. All right. So, yes. So you're totally right. We have to make sure that we don't, if you have 100, documents that are larger than 17 kilobytes like mine, the form will just take a while to load. So in that case, what you can do, there is an actual zip. Let's actually change this together so you can actually see how it works. Close this, download group stuff. There's actually a thing you can say, I think it's like zip stuff, zip. Let's see, zip directory. There we go, zip files. So what I can do is instead of if I have 100 documents, instead of just like shoving it all to display on that control, I can just say, hey, I actually want a zip of it all. And I could say, let's grab the new list. And I'm going to say, this is my, nope, zipped. Let's see, zipped doc list. Or let me say file list. And you could easily do this. You could add more flow logic to say like, hey, if the documents are all from Sabrina's, I want to say list of files zipped Sabrina. And then like you can add logic to do that. To make it more, so instead of like getting one zip file of everything, you just get like 3 zip files of like the specific things that you're looking for. But once you identify the list of files, then what you can do is, let me go ahead and change this. I'm actually going to say, let's build array, and let's just select the first one. And so I can get the zip file data output. And then what you'll see is, if I go to dashboard, right? Let's say I multi-select. I just want all of them for the sake of this test. And just so I don't have like multiple duplicates on my system of all the different documents, I'm just going to delete it on my report viewer. I download all the stuff. You see I got a zipped file list. I download a zip file, but I can't use it because I know what I did wrong. So here's what happened. So I have this zip file list, but as you can see, I can't do anything with it. So I'm glad I'm showing this. So I think even if I say this as .zip, I don't think it's going to work. Can I extract? Hey, okay, cool. So you can have a little bit of some obfuscation if you need, but there's all my documents there, and you can grab it. Now, if you want it to automatically be a zipped file when you get it instead of some unknown thing, very simple fix. You just have to go back into that action, and when I zip the file, make sure that I add the file extension to the name of the file. And then once you do that, you can automatically get that just as a zip file, and it will have the behavior that you're looking for. So dashboard, let's do that. Let me delete that test one more time. And then we can run it again. So delete, boom. And then, we'll even just say we just want Sabrina and Will, right? So I'm going to download this, right? I got a zip file list zip. I download that. It comes already as a zip file. So I don't need to worry about doing anything. I can right click, extract all, extract here, and then boom, I have just the 2 texts of that I selected.
Yes, this is perfect. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Boom. All right. Any other questions? Go ahead, Mantle. I'm ready for round 2.
I'm sorry, if you don't have any other questions, is it possible if I can ask like 2 really quick questions?
Yeah, we got time.
Okay. So is there any way in like we can add a JavaScript into the flow and get the GPS coordinates if you're using a mobile app, or is this completely
Ooh,
out of the work?
I have no idea. I think typically what we do have, there's one customer we do have that what they do is I think they do some type of like integration to like a
Mhm.
Google API or something like that. And typically what they'll do, I can show a little bit of this.
Mhm.
Let's see, normal form, test form.
Yeah, because our users already have a built-in like JavaScript, but they were asking if there's any way we can put it into a flow or if it's possible to integrate into decisions and then it would just catch wherever they are from their GPS, from the app and the phone, and it will populate the
Mm-hmm.
coordinates.
Mm-hmm. So, um, yeah, I see. So like when they run this, or you just want to automatically get it from the system as the flow's running, right?
Yes, they said they have a
Okay.
JavaScript to do that.
I wonder. I think there's a flow step. There might be a flow step that just says run script or run JavaScript. Test flow for script steps. Script test. That's not it. That's not it. Where's execute? I would have to research that one. I know what you can do is you can have JavaScript controls run on forms. So you could do it that way. And so what a lot of people do is like on the form, people can pick like GPS map coordinates, a little different from what sounds like you're trying to do. But as regard of running a JavaScript in a flow, I'd have to follow up with you on that. You can put your
And
email
even
in,
if
I'll check.
that would get, even if you do like a Google, how would you do it just from the Google then? Like they can do it just from the Google, like from their app? No, maybe not. Like if would it be possible for them to be doing automatically if you don't need a JavaScript? I don't think I can hear you at all.
Hey, testing, am I live? Ha!
Yep, you're back.
Don't you love batteries when they run out? All right. So what were you saying? I'm sorry. I totally my headset's died on me.
Oh, it's all good. So I was just asking if that if you don't do JavaScript, if there is any possibility in decisions where you can use where you can get the GPS coordinates.
Mhm. Yeah, I gotcha. Well, definitely. I know we have the form controls one, and I see my team has put there. I would have to research. I
Mhm.
know in older versions we can't do it. I don't know if there's any change or like a step that runs script, but not that I know of. But I'll follow up with you on that.
Okay, and I'll put my email. And then one last thing, that would be a
Yeah, no
quick
worries.
question. With the
Mhm.
guest account, so I create the guest account, right?
Mhm.
The external user comes in, they create an account. When they get into the form, we have attachments. So do they get scanned or do they get test like so they're not putting like SQL injections or they're not putting like bogus data? Like how does it work? Because external user can put anything into the form.
Like what type of control? Typically, those things are constrained on the type of like control. Say your question one more time. So you have a guest user coming in. You want to
Hmm.
make sure they're not running any like SQL injections or things like that.
Oh no, just like on the file attachment. So I have like a file attachments where they can
Yeah.
attach as many files they want. how do you does Decisions run any security in the back that makes sure that they're not putting like SQL injections and all that data they entered into, like all the attachments they entered into the form are safe?
That's another great question. Let me put your email in the chat. I'm gonna research about that one too.
Okay.
Because I don't. Those are great questions, and I don't think I don't even know what the answer would be.
Gotcha. Okay, definitely. I'll go ahead and put it in there. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
My pleasure. All right. Cool. All right. Once I get your email. Perfect. Cool. All right. I'll go ahead and research this. Since there's no more questions, I'll go ahead and end the call right here. And Manal, you'll get an email from me in about like a couple hours. I'm just gonna do some research on this. So, all right. So thank you so much for attending. Tomorrow I'll also be hosting the next Lunch and Learn. Hopefully my headset will work at that time, so you won't, we won't have any technical issues. But thank you so much for attending, and I'll see you guys next time.
Thanks, Jared.